I didn't melt down. And by the way, I was black.
Yeah, you did. You melted, bro.
I melted down. Okay, I definitely melted down.
Hold on.
I melted down. But I self-corrected, Ari. You know I self-corrected.
Okay. So Ari Shaffir always has entertaining appearances whenever he does a podcast in the Rogan sphere. And recently, he did Two Bears, One Cave, replacing Bert Kreischer for that one episode, and did not disappoint. Most people might know that him and Bert have had some sort of beef or drama in the past, but this time it went a little bit farther than that, even shocking Tom Segura as he was hearing that Bert Kreischer had an insane meltdown at Mark Norman's bachelor party a few months back. They end up calling Bert Kreischer on the phone, and things get so intense that at some point Bert has to finally admit what he has been denying for so long. So let's get started.
No, he was like, we're having a good time, but he gets drunk, and then like when he's coming off his booze, he gets like cranky, like probably like your child used to when he was younger.
Oh, tell me this.
So we're all hanging out. It's a great beach house.
Yeah,
Liz and Norman, just tons of comics.
This is Tampa,
8, 9
right?
Comics, And he's like, I'm gonna run this party. We're like, sweet, you're the guy for this.
You're the party guy.
He shows up. We're all at like a beach bar, and he goes, I'm ordering food for everybody. And Joe List is like, no.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to get what I want to get.
Yeah, I'm grown up.
Yeah, I don't need you to do this.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, Joe's ruining the party. He goes, I don't like everything, man. What?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, I forgot about this. So at some point, they're deciding on dinner, so I go up and shower. And then Bert decides Thai food. So him and DeRosa go to a bar, Thai place, 5-minute walk away. And then, so they go to get that. And then Joe List was like, I'm going to order some pizzas too. So these pizzas come after Bert and DeRosa are at this bar drinking heavily at a Thai bar.
Yeah.
And then they're like, Joe List, come get us. He goes, all right, are you ready to go? Because I'm sober, so I'm not going to sit at a bar with you guys.
Right.
They could have just walked the stuff back. By the time he gets back, he goes, where the were you?
That's what Bert says?
Bert, immediately. We were sitting there for 2 hours. He's like, what 2 hours? You left an hour ago. It's not 2 hours. He goes, he's cranky. He's cranky.
He's coming off.
Yeah, it's coming off or not quite right, or he hasn't had his sleep.
And you probably already know, but Joe List is a New York comedian that has been doing stand-up for a while. He was touring opening for Louis C.K., did a movie with him, and has been doing a podcast with Mark Norman since 2013, I believe. And similar to Bobby Lee, he is a sober comic. Party happened about 8 months ago, and I remember back then, Mark Norman made a whole event out of it, inviting a lot of his friends, doing shows, podcasts, and all that. And one of those comics was Bert Kreischer. Now, there's a lot of clips and videos of them fishing, partying, and all that. And by the sound of it and by the look of it, Bert was having a lot of fun.
Bachelor party!
Get in, boys!
Get in the sprinter van. That's a big fish, Ari.
He'll be there.
Fish gone? No. 10 miles out at sea. Mark's pulling in bonitas.
Puma's dying.
Got it.
Mark's throwing up pretty aggressively.
Yeah, Gringo Poppy.
So I'm down at that point, and now there's pizzas coming, and Joe's like, yeah, whatever, we got pizzas too, it's no big deal. And he goes, you got pizzas? You said Thai. And he goes, I didn't say Thai. I don't like Thai food, so I never would have wanted Thai. He goes, what's the why I had Thai food? And he starts just screaming at Joe List, just screaming at each other's faces, not each other's faces. Joe List is like, dude, what is this fight about? I just hacked on some pizzas to whatever you got.
Sure.
And Ari Shaffir explaining Bert's attitude was spot on, because it does make sense. It does seem like Bert Kreischer is a type of guy that is fun to be around whenever he's drunk and happy. But at some point, that has to slow down and stop, and that is when he crashes. So now we know that when it comes to Bert, not only can he get cranky, but he can also get upset and scream at people whenever things don't go his way. And I know it's not that simple, but when it comes to Bert, I don't think alcohol is essentially the problem, but instead the fact that he just wants to be the center of attention the entire time, even at an event that is not his.
Eventually, I kind of chimed in. I was like,
we can eat pizza and Thai food?
yeah, exactly. This isn't a problem. Yeah. By the way, Bert ate pizza later. And then he goes, and I'm like, I said Thai food is fine. He goes, you weren't here. Don't you ever say you wanted Thai food. He literally said, "Don't you ever," and he accentuated, "say you wanted Thai food. You were showering." Dude, it was the best. It was the best. And then he slept for 14 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was
Then
out after that.
Yeah, he was done.
That is holy shit.
It was so fun.
Yeah, can we call him?
100%.
Okay.
You like that?
Yeah.
And the thing is, the whole argument is really dumb. The reason why they were fighting is really, really stupid. So we won't focus on that, and instead we'll focus on Bert's reaction or overreaction to it. Now, keep in mind, we only have, I guess, one side of the story now, but I was actually shocked that they did air that part of the podcast, that phone call, and that Bert Kreischer was okay with it, because not only does it paint Bert Kreischer in a very bad light, making him seem like an asshole, but he's also forced to finally admit something that he has been denying for a while. Because from what I remember, I don't think anybody has ever told a story about anybody having a crazy meltdown that's close to Bert or Bert for that matter. And what's even more interesting is that there were a lot of other comics there, but nobody has said a thing until now, 8 months later, that Ari Shaffir decided to be a hero and give us that juicy content.
Oh my God. Guess what? Yeah. Are you here? You there?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You're on Two Bears, One Cave, this podcast I do sometimes. I have Ari Shaffir here.
Oh, shut up.
And
I was just going to call him.
Well, it's about a super aggressive meltdown you had at Mark Norman's a bachelor party in Tampa about Thai food and pizza. Does this sound familiar?
Yeah.
And that when Ari jumped in about it, you told him you screamed at him.
No, I did not scream at him. I said, no, I did what I do when I do it to Leanne too.
Yeah.
Is when I'm a little bit out of control and someone tries to help me.
Yeah.
I go, I need to get out of this hole myself. No. Let me just explain how this went down.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could tell that Bert Kreischer knew what was about to happen after knowing that Ari Shaffir was on that podcast. And it was probably in the back of his head the entire time. And he was about to relive that whole thing on air. He also knows that he can't really bully Ari Shaffir into not saying anything because he is on the phone and being recorded on the show, on a massive show. And the thing is, I don't really feel bad for Bert in this situation because a lot of his success does come from podcasting, and a huge selling point of the podcast is that you get the true personality of, the comedian or whoever you're listening to. So in this case, it's only fair that everybody knows about those stories. By the way, if you like what you're seeing so far, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps out a ton, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
And I didn't melt down. And by the way, I was black.
Yeah, you did. You melted, bro.
I melted down. Okay, I definitely melted down.
Hold on.
I melted down. I self-corrected. Ari, you know I self-corrected.
Okay. Hold on.
I love when he starts telling a lie and then realize, someone knows the facts.
You self-corrected.
He said I self-corrected.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
By self-corrected, that's weird.
Can I
corrected
Can I
you.
jump in,
But,
though?
yeah.
That I think, because I know Bert, I think part of what was upsetting to him is that when he ordered Thai food for everybody, he's like, I'm doing this so everybody has a good time and enjoys this Thai food.
Which we did.
Wow.
No, and then when
This is why you're my best friend. This is why you're my best friend.
and then he showed up and there's pizza. He's like, "What?"
Tom, keep going.
He shows up and there's pizza, and it's like you're kind of like taking the party down a notch that he was throwing for you in that moment. You know what I mean?
Now, what's funny here is that Bert Kreischer keeps making the argument that what he did to Ari, he also does to his wife, so it's not that bad. And I don't think that's the best argument, but the big takeaway here is that people like Bert Kreischer, and I hate to bring it up, but also Brennan Schaub, they do this thing where they lie with so much confidence and just, look straight into people's faces in hopes that the other person will just go with the flow and not call them out. In this case, Ari Shaffir has nothing to fear, or he owes nothing to Bert Kreischer, so he literally just calls him out as a liar. And Bert Kreischer has no other choice but to fold and admit that he was wrong.
Just thank you.
They were discussing what to eat for a while I was up in the shower, and then everyone was discussing which one they wanted, and then Bert just made the executive decision. We're getting Thai food.
I mean,
I made the executive decision because I didn't have time to down and wait. And I was
When you say you don't have time to wait, you did spend 2 hours at the bar getting drunk.
That's because I'm an alcoholic, Ari.
Oh, fair. Now I'll self-correct.
But what about you yelling at Ari? That he said you yelled really aggressively in his face.
No.
Now is when things start to get very interesting because, once again, I don't want to focus on whether Bert's an alcoholic or not and whether that's good or bad. He's a full-grown man. He's rich, so I don't really care about that. But it is worth pointing out that up until this conversation, up until that phone conversation, every single time Bert Kreischer was asked if he had a problem or if he was an alcoholic, he would do the most insane mental gymnastics to try to justify why he wasn't, even going as far as doing a speech that went viral because of how passionate he was about alcohol.
If you put yourself out as someone, and I buy into that, and then I find out you're not the person you sold me as, I'm out. I'm fucking out forever. I can't deal with that. I think that's part of the reason I have a hard time quitting drinking is because everyone knows that I like to have a drink and I party.
Bert, listen, we love you. I've never met you in person, but the world loves you. Like, don't need it.
You think that you're an alcoholic?
No, I've run it through the ringer a few times. Dr. Drew's my litmus.
Oh yeah.
And I've talked to him about it. He's like, you're not an alcoholic. You just drink too much. He's like, alcoholism's different. Being powerless to alcohol is different than drinking a lot. I drank a lot yesterday and I woke up in the middle of the night.
Things definitely got a little bit too real, and even Ari Shaffir felt the need to apologize, which is wild. I'm pretty sure that was the first time he ever heard something like that coming from Bert Kreischer. And once again, I don't think Bert Kreischer has a problem necessarily. I mean, the guy has built an entire economy around his drinking, and I guess you could argue that Bert Kreischer might have felt disrespected and ignored, but that it just doesn't give you an excuse. There's no excuse to scream at somebody at a party.
And I should have been aware of that. Sometimes I cast a large wake and I don't pay attention to other people's feelings. And it's the Bert show. And I don't allow room for other people. And I'm working on that.
This is a very self-aware Bert.
I think I said I was okay with Thai food, or I was downstairs when you guys, and you said, "Don't you ever say you wanted Thai food."
Hey, I love that you accept me for my flaws.
It was pretty surprising how self-aware Bert Kreischer was on that phone call, and he handled it pretty well, all things considered, knowing that, he was being recorded. But Ari Shaffir wasn't letting go, and he reminded Bert Kreischer that he actually screamed at him directly at Ari Shaffir, calling him out and almost wanting to fight him. Bert Kreischer admitted to it, essentially apologized, and said that he was glad that Ari was his friend. And the thing is that the whole argument is so stupid that I'm pretty sure there's more behind the scenes. I'm pretty sure they had some beef going on before, and that was just a perfect moment for that thing to explode.
Oh, God.
Oh, it was fun.
Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, it's not standard for him to scream, though.
No.
I've
never really seen it like that. But people are like, "Are you upset?" I'm like, you can't take this seriously. It's over Thai food.
Yeah.
It does sound like something is changing with Bert. Even Tom Segura said that was not normal for Bert Kreischer, and that's not normal for anybody to scream at your friend at a party while you're drunk. In my opinion, that's just a perfect excuse to cut somebody off. And for what it's worth, it does seem like Tom Segura is an actual close friend with Bert Kreischer, even though they don't hang out outside of the podcast from what I remember. But recently I was listening to Tom Segura's podcast on Joe Rogan, and they were being nice to Bert Kreischer. So a worst case scenario, he does have good friends that would, call him out or do some sort of intervention, I think, if it had to come down to that. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe to support the channel. Follow me on Instagram if you want to connect. Dislike if you didn't like the video, but that is all we have for today. See ya.